When we started in January 1990, we set ourselves to provide relevant and appropriate information to rural communities in Zimbabwe. And to date, we have been able to establish 300 school community libraries. And these libraries have proved very popular within the communities. We've seen participation by communities at large, especially children who are attending school. And as a result, the pass rate has improved tremendously among those communities where these libraries are functional. What we do as an organization, we have a training program. We have produced training material, and we bring together community members, including representatives of the youth, and we go through motivational sessions where communities participate in discussing issues of how the different groups within the communities could utilize libraries. It's a program which brings the entire community together, and the traditional leadership is very supportive to the program. This project, we see it as a springboard in opening up reading and cultivate reading culture at an early age, because the problem in the past has been that children have been introduced to books very late, maybe in the 3rd or 4th grades. But if we start them as infants, they get acquainted with books, they become friendly to books. We are sure that when they get into school, starting school, they will be familiar, and that's making it quite easy for them to read books.
Children must have the freedom to choose what they want to read. This is why we actually have to provide a lot of books. And also, you saw I used a big book. We call these big books. The approach which needs these books is you share the learning. By this we mean you start reading together with the children. Let the children read with you, and you can let them read on their own, while you are directing them where they go wrong. But you shouldn't impose pressure on them. We started from the heads of schools. 3 schools were involved. They are DC chairmen, and then the teacher librarians, and we had the preschool teachers, we had the infant teachers.
That the children are going to have, for the first time in their lives, have a library book. For the first time in their lives, they are going to see what is called a library book. They are used to seeing textbooks which they share amongst maybe 10 people per book. But then for the first time, they will have an opportunity to read library books. I'll talk about our school. There is absolutely no library at our school, yes, except just for the few textbooks and a few donations and the books which are not very viable to our children, and they don't even fit the situation. So with this new type of a library, is going to benefit our children. I've just looked at a few books. I'm sure they will definitely benefit our children. Actually, sometimes we go to the extent of actually bringing our own books from our own homes, our children's books, and they are really enthusiastic to just have to read a library book.
This is a national program which needs everybody's support.
Sikona
we are gathered here at Kowokowo community in Nkayi, where we are launching our first ever children's multimedia donkey drone mobile cart. This is a specialized cart which is funded by a Swiss-based foundation called the Richard Scarry Foundation for Children's Literacy and Education. And the cart is very specialized because besides having shelves for books, it can contain up to 2,000 books. It is also mounted with an 80-watt solar panel at the top of its roof, and has batteries and an inverter to convert to electricity. It contains television, video, a CD player, and we also intend having a computer in there. And it's going to be going around our remote areas, first around the Kowokowo area and eventually the rest of Nkayi.
This community actually doesn't have a reading culture. It's like we don't have libraries in the community, and it's like we do not have any other resources where children can read books besides getting the books from the teachers in the classrooms. And this event is actually an awakening for us, because we can now have books where children can read, study, borrow, and use books.
The findings that seem to give us an indication is that, results of all schools that are receiving this service seem to have improved significantly. Well, not so much to reach the mark of 100%, but certainly there's been a significant input, which generally I think would also, sort of like speculate that, it could have been caused by this initiative.
This is really an exciting initiative. As it was mentioned this morning, that results in rural areas, grade 7 results in particular, have been bad. But it has been shown that in areas where there has been libraries, the results have improved. And it is my sincere hope that these libraries, these mobile libraries going to the various schools in Matabeleland, will help to improve the grade 7 results. One. Secondly, our people don't really have a reading culture. As you know, we are a talking people, not a reading people. And yet to pass exams, you need to be able to read. And the introduction of reading in creche, nursery schools and primary schools will help to develop a reading culture, which also will have a good result of helping our students learn, but particularly also to help our people have an inquiring mind that's based on reading. My hope is that the whole cart will not be an entertainment, a mobile entertainment unit, but that will be a mobile learning unit. And students can then use the various forms of learning that are there, using the videos, using the CD-ROMs, using the tapes, in addition to the books.
Yeah, we are benefiting especially on kids. We are doing grade 1 up to 7, and at least those who are in Form 1, they are benefiting. Yeah, we are expecting by end of year the kids might get better results than before we introduced our donkey cart drone library.
Ngikhangelela isizwe samaNdebele lesi ukuthi emfundweni siphansi. Nxa siphansi kanje lesi sizwe lesi kungenziwa njani? Ngomunye umbono esengulethile esigabeni lapho ukuthi sizame ukusisukumisa ngani ngemfundo.
A person needs to be literate, a person needs to be informed for them to make informed decisions. And it is only from informed decisions that basically rural development or any form of development begins. And I think the forefrontness of the traditional leaders is basically an acknowledgement of that.
We need your support in every aspect. How wonderful and loving you are. Try hard to feed us before we go to school. Reources during our learning.
What happened is through our development of donkey drone mobile cart libraries, which go back to 1995, it caught the attention of the Richard Scarry Children's Literacy and Education Foundation. They found this to be a very interesting, very intelligent and very clever one. And they thought it's best that they invest money into this project so that their foundation gets known, whilst at the same time promoting children who otherwise don't have possibilities of accessing books. There are very little possibilities of accessing books, later on television or video or radio in this very remote area of Nkayi. It's a hidden place at a corner, and the terrain is not so good. So it's not possible for the children to access television, to have books, because there are no libraries. We came up with this idea of donkey drawn cart because it can reach a number of schools. And we hope that the children will benefit, and the Reources Foundation will also benefit in terms of their own cooperation with us here in Zimbabwe.